Welcome to The Brook, bearing clusters of truth with a splash of common sense.
Good evening and welcome to The Brook on Canaan Radio. I'm Will in the studio this week with David, Pastor Reeves, Brother Peter,
Hi.
and of course JT up in the booth. We're glad that you're able to join us today. If you're watching via YouTube, you can request a song in the live chat, or you can send us a text at 920-940-8275 to request a song during the show. We love to hear from our listeners. You can also send us a direct message on Instagram or Twitter. Our social media handle is at Canaan_radio. Again, that phone number to request a song is 920-940-8275. And with that, it is time. Let's get ready to ramble. I'm cracking myself up here.
Do we have anything to ramble about?
Well, we were,
but
just before.
But we
I don't know
can't
if
talk
wanna bring
about
it
that
back.
because then we're going to talk about it
Cultural
later.
issue. Yeah,
Right.
we were.
Well, it's going to be in the segment.
No, we'll say it now. That way it doesn't matter how I say it then.
We were discussing how you pronounce
The correct pronunciation.
pronunciation of Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Right. Okay, wait. It's
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
If you're from that area,
It's debatable. That's
Tell
the
us.
question. Just write it in the comments. It won't help. But
Brother.
yeah.
call in. Can they?
No comments.
No.
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 How's your
Pastor,
Starbucks?
yeah, Pastor Reeves,
Delicious.
tell us, ramble about something for us.
Thank you. All right.
Beautiful. Beautiful. If you're here watching us on YouTube, please join us in the chat. Say hi. Say hello. Say what's up.
Brother Jeff said, are you guys going to do deep fake?
For one episode
one
and have
episode.
imposters in the studio.
I like that.
What is
Oh,
that?
they should send us the
That would be
request.
great.
They should send us a request for who they would want.
You were doing that last week. You were
was I
sending those videos to me, and
They're deep fake. They're
they
face
change your
replacements.
face. Well, I'm talking about the ones that he
Oh,
put
yeah, I don't
like
even
music
know what
to and
that
stuff.
was.
Those
I
were
didn't put any
weird.
music to them. It's
Well,
a
you
An
sent it
app.
to me.
It was an
it's an
app.
app.
Okay, so but you were the one who did it.
They were funny.
I was laughing. Some
Yeah,
of them.
Some of them were a little strange.
Yeah.
Well,
But that is crazy, the technology. I mean, well, here's what's even more crazy. It's getting to the point where it's so good that people are looking at real videos and calling them fake. Did
What
you
if
see that
people
video of
don't
the
know what
president?
we're talking about
Did you see
right
that
now?
video of the president? The president was doing just like a talk to some of the press. It wasn't a press conference. He was just talking to some of the members of the press. And while he was standing there talking, he waved his hand. Because of the position of the microphone, his hand in the picture goes in front of the microphone. So it looked like a green screen, like they just got
Oh,
the positioning
yeah.
wrong. And they're like, oh, it's a fake. He's doing it in front of green screen. It's
Mm-hmm.
not real. When, like, if you saw a side picture, you can see that the microphone was just so far out here that when he waved his hand, it was over the microphone. But it's just crazy that the video is getting so good, like faking video, that people now are starting to doubt the real thing.
I heard that they were, because the deep fake technology is like you said, becoming so
Kinda creepy.
well used and so good that people are trying to figure out if people's faces should be like
Copywritten?
yeah, basically. Because there was one of Tom Cruise, I guess, and
Identity
they
Yeah.
thought it was him, and
Yeah.
it wasn't him, and they're like, "What happens if you can just use somebody's?"
Who's Tom Cruise?
He's
He's a figure, I guess.
he's
A
some-
person-
he's some
Yeah.
guy on the internet.
Right.
Some guy saw somewhere.
I read about him in a book somewhere.
Yes, in a book.
But anyway, they were talking about should the country introduce legislation which is basically keeping people from doing that to other people's faces. But I mean, I don't know how you regulate. Yeah, I don't know how you regulate.
Well, but the government's found ways to regulate pretty much everything, so I'm sure they'll find a way.
but if you think about it, in maybe 10 years, we're not even going to need any more actors. We're just
Well, it'll actually get better, this whole identity theft with your deep fake video, because you'll be wearing, in about 10 years, 10 or 20 masks.
I
All
wonder. Yeah, that's
You won't be able to
Yeah,
tell
so many
who's
masks,
who.
nobody knows who you are.
We bus workers wore masks the right way today.
That's right, Brother David, show us. Show us. Here we go. Here we go.
Wow.
No. Wear it the right way.
He's like,
Wear
the
it
right way. And David's
The
over here
right
putting it on the wrong way.
So I've solved the mask issue. So if you don't like wearing, the actual masks, and you walk into a restaurant and they're
So
like,
you need to wear
put
a mask
on. Put this on.
I got it on.
Be like,
I'm wearing a mask.
what's wrong with this? It's a mask.
It's over your nose and over your mouth.
It is. It's on your nose.
It is over.
That's what I said. It's
Yeah.
over.
And over your.
It's a top. Yeah, that's true.
English language is a beautiful thing.
Got you an education.
Why? Yes,
Somebody's going to steal
cancel
this and
culture.
start a Twitter account with
They
this
are.
face or
They are.
something.
They're going to be.
It's an anon account. Look
Yeah,
at
it's
you.
going to be. I might do it.
Oh,
There you
start
go.
your own account.
Yeah.
Okay.
My face.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we didn't just wear masks for fun. Tomorrow we're having Superhero Sunday.
It's going to be a big day.
Yeah, we'll probably want to talk
we'll talk about that in the
segment, though.
next. Do we have anything else to talk about?
Rambling?
Yeah. Are we rambling about anything else? I did not get out the app that I normally use for. Let's see here. So I know what the songs are. I have no idea. What
I'm
the
trying to
songs
catch
are.
up on the.
GT hasn't sent me any songs.
I'm trying
yet,
to
so.
catch up on the comments.
You should have.
Brother Tyson, he's on. Where's the Caped Crusader? What is that? Who's that?
That's Batman.
It's Batman. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's right over here.
Yes,
I'm Batman.
You should have
Tomorrow.
wear your hoodie. That thing
It's in
was
my car.
That thing was hilarious.
I'll go grab it.
What
And,
is?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just
What's he
just
doing?
leave that one alone.
Maybe you haven't been you all season. Maybe we're not us.
Maybe we're not.
It's a fact. We were all going there.
Oh, we got a song. Let's go to a song and then we'll come right back.
Praise the Lord.
We're going to go to the song, How Big Is God? This song was requested by Joe. We'll be right back. Wine Press, where we deliver nothing but the freshest of fresh news and information. Up first, tomorrow's going to be a big day.
What?
It is.
How big?
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
It
Bigly.
is. Tomorrow is Hero Sunday here at North Platte Baptist Church. The first, yes,
Awesome.
the first in a series of 6 weeks that we are going to, that we're calling Community Days. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at there. I should just replay my news spot because I said it much better than.
Community days.
Community Days, right. And tomorrow we're celebrating, we're honoring those who helped bring us through COVID-19 and the crazy pandemic last year. And that would be those in healthcare. We've got Mel McNay, the CEO of the hospital, is going to be here to receive an award on behalf of Great Plains Health. And we'll have the mayor here to present that award. We've got we've got some doctors and a bunch of nurses and stuff lined up to be here tomorrow. So it's going to be exciting. Got gifts to give away to those who work in healthcare. Really want to just show our appreciation for those who help keep us
it's
safe.
kind of cool coming out of doctor's office the other day, and the nurse said, "See you Sunday," and I didn't even know who it was. Mom knew who it was, but I didn't know who it was.
Cool.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah, Mom did say that she got to actually hand out some of those flyers
yeah,
and
it's
talk to people
actually
about
in.
it. So.
You know, the hospital sends out that
Yes.
newsletter.
Yes.
It's actually in the newsletter, the whole thing.
I worked with
So-
the gal in marketing and got it sent out actually
Yeah, Will
last
did that,
week. And
the whole setup for the big day. So him and his wife, we get all the kudos. So if it's a success, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a flop,
that was me. Not Kaylee. It was me.
As far as the bus routes are concerned, we're doing a slightly different take. We're doing Superheroes Sunday, and so all the kids are dressing up as their favorite superheroes. And so we went visiting today, sort of dressed up as our favorite superheroes. Some of us were just generically dressed up.
generic superheroes.
Generic
I
superheroes.
was not generic. I was a superhero.
No copyright infringement.
That's right.
That's true.
Said Ring Pop Man.
Ring Pop Man. That was JT. It was green
His,
Ring Pop
his
Man.
tagline is "Suck it."
Green bean.
Wow.
Green bean.
That was very
Fear the
borderline.
green bean.
Oh,
I got that picture when you guys posed, and he has that ring on his finger.
Yeah, he does.
That's what it looks like.
He said it would not fit on any of his other fingers. So he's just
Yeah, right. You know, I don't believe anything JT says.
Peter's was the best, I think, because he had a Batman hoodie.
Because I'm Batman.
And it had the little mask.
It had
or the little.
It had the cowl.
Is that what it's called? I don't even know. But anyway, you could zip it up.
The mask.
I could just see him running around his living room. Saying, jumping off the couch. Yeah, and breaking a leg. Look at this, Jewel. I'm Batman.
On a watch. Let's jump off the furniture.
How far can I throw my new baby?
News. That's the news right there.
No, yeah,
Wow.
there we go.
Share the
Peter,
news,
Sheriff.
Pete.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Pete is a dad
tired.
again.
Still.
Amazing.
3 times
Improved?
now.
Yes.
And
Why is Superman held for review?
wait, don't change the subject. We're talking about this.
I'm sorry.
Who cares? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Pete. Tell us what
Introduce
happened
our-
in your life.
Yes, tell us.
Your
There is
daughter,
a
my
new
granddaughter.
little girl in my house. Another one.
Another girl. 3 girls.
Ellery Carroll. She's a beautiful kid. She is quiet when you feed her. It's about normal for girls.
I had her. I held her at the restaurant today for I don't know
For
About half an
about
hour.
40
Yeah.
minutes, yeah. She's really good today. But we just fed her before we got there, so that was a big
I
blessing.
know it's early, but I really feel like she's going to be the complete opposite of Ariana. Just
She-
quiet.
We'll see.
She's
It'll
gonna
take
be
about
my-
a year before
She's
we
gonna be
figure
my
it out.
favorite. Quiet.
I
Well
don't know.
behaved. Doesn't ask for anything.
Yeah, right.
Not if she grows up in this family.
yeah. Candy. Mints.
That's
Candy,
funny.
candy,
No,
candy.
it's exciting. Now she came into the world on
12:50 on March 14th,
Sunday, baby.
2021.
Sunday.
Hi,
Day.
baby.
Yeah.
Pi
Is
Day.
that
yeah.
3.14?
3.14.
3.14.
The date was 3/14.
Uh-huh.
3.14.
That's
Pi,
the way, uh-huh.
3.14.
So if your
Can someone
birthday
explain this to
was
me?
March 14th,
I already knew that.
2015, and you were born at 9:26 in the morning or in the evening, please call in. We'd love to hear from you. Sorry,
Do
it's
you exist?
3.1415926, which is the
You know, I'm only interested in like cherry pie. So when I found out
You know
that
Albert Einstein was
Pie
born
Sunday
in
was not what I
Did you
thought
know
it
that?
was, I was very
Sorry.
disappointed.
Did you know Albert Einstein was born March 14th as well?
all right. She has a great legacy
It
to
was.
live up
It was
to.
a smart gentleman.
She's already a smart child.
Keeps her mouth shut. That's great.
Yeah, and she knows when to ask for things.
I think
she got-
I'm reading some of these comments here, and I really think that Brother Jeff thought that Dad actually. It says retracted. He just took it back.
That Dad had a baby?
No, his dad posted on Twitter that he was excited about it, but Dad just posted a generic GIF, but it was from the side, so I think some people thought that it was actually you
Of dancing. Yes, I remember that.
So,
yeah, some
yeah.
people thought you
What?
had really good moves.
I
Last
think
Sunday.
Brother
They
Jeff,
thought it was
I
me?
think Brother
Sunday.
Jeff thinks that it was actually you.
No.
I don't think it was just Brother
It
Jeff.
was
I
a-
think several people
just a-
were like, wow, he's got the moves.
No.
Yeah?
no.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see,
He
Brother
was
Jeff
break-
said
yep.
he was. Yeah, breakdancing.
Breakdancing. He'll break something if
I don't
he does
think
that.
I would call that breakdancing.
Yeah.
He was gonna break
Lame
something.
breakdancing.
So
You
okay,
don't want to see me bust some
table.
moves.
But
okay. I talked about my Sunday. What are we talking about? Let's talk about yours. Yours is next week.
Yeah,
no,
next week.
No, we'll talk about yours next week because it'll be the day before. So let's
Yeah.
talk. What else do we have to talk
A new
about?
new little blurp cast.
It's not a podcast.
Oh.
it's a
It's called a
blurpcast.
blurp cast.
I'm like trying to. I'm like, what?
It's,
Is that a
it's
thing?
It's a show. It's
now.
like a radio show. It's just
Broadcast.
a short little broadcast.
It's going to be a punch.
Yeah.
snippet.
I was going to call it the black eye. You know, just
The black eye. Oh man.
okay.
Truth that hurts.
I just wanted
Sucker
I want
punch.
to have those times where I'm sitting at my desk or something, and I think of something, and I can put that out. And you know, the fundies and trendies like saying that we live in an echo chamber. The thing is, truth lives in an echo chamber.
Yep.
It doesn't change no matter what. You can put
You
it
make
in there.
fun of it all you want.
Yeah.
You can.
And that's what irritates them is they can't. You can't bend the truth. You can't change the truth. The truth is the truth, and they want to open everything up for arguments and debate. Well, you know, they think, oh, I can debate the truth. We can debate, but you can't change God's mind. You can't debate His word. So why not just give into it? Get in the same echo chamber as the Lord, and let Him say what you want. So that's why we're going to call it the echo.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's good.
So
Let
There's
it
a little-
permeate your brain.
There's a little tagline that comes with that. What is it? The echo.
Truth unchallenged.
Truth
truth unchallenged.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to
Do
be
you know
fun.
when your first one will be?
I
out,
don't.
or-
I don't. Well, I think the supplies and all the equipment coming in on Wednesday.
Yes,
So maybe Friday.
Friday.
Maybe Friday. And then we're going to put that on the radio as well.
Yes, we'll play on the radio.
Will it actually take the place of One Simple Truth? Is that the plan?
Wait,
Whatever you want.
I'm not in charge.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Who's in charge?
Whoever runs the
are.
radio
Oh.
station.
Yeah, let me talk to me and see what he has to say about it.
Anything else off the wine press today?
That's
Anything
my
else?
news.
Anything else? What? You were
Nothing.
going to say something.
No,
The
Brother
echo.
Tyson
The
texted
echo.
me,
The
and-
echo. The echo.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, we're going to get right into things. Remember, you can request a song during the show by texting us 920-940-8275 or send us a message on Twitter and Instagram. Are you okay over there?
Brother Jeff.
Don't-
Burpcast.
Yeah.
It's blurp. Blurp. Blurpcast. Brother
Right.
Jeff.
He has an aunt named
Hey, is
Echo.
Lindsay on here on this? Where's Lindsay at? I see Ray Lynn was on there somewhere.
Yeah,
back
where's
at the
Lindsay
beginning.
at? Someone got to go track her down. Where was I? Send us
You
a
were about
message
to-
on Twitter and Instagram using our handle at Canaan_radio. Okay. All right.
Wait, tell about the business person in town that says they listen to the Brook.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's a gal in town. She owns an ice cream shop.
Yes.
And she's actually come to church before. She came for one of our big Sundays. She said that she listens to, we were talking, and she was actually helping donate some of the gifts that we're giving away to the people
For
this
tomorrow.
Sunday. Right. And so I was talking to her, and I was getting ready to leave, and she goes, "You know that thing you guys do? What is it?" And I'm just standing there, I'm like, I'm not sure what she's talking, because we do, like, we have a lot
do
of
a lot of
things,
things. Or what-
you know?
yeah.
So I'm sitting there, she's like, it's the Brook. And I'm just like, oh boy. She's like, I love that. You guys are funny. You guys are hilarious. She's like, and I think some people just, and she starts talking about, people who got all kinds of negative things to say. This lady doesn't go to our church.
Yeah.
It's the church she does go to. It's not Baptist, but I can't remember
it's community church.
Community church,
Christian.
right? So she's a good lady.
Yes.
We love going into her.
Yeah,
I love going into
she's
her shop.
great.
She's
She
a
let
nice
us.
person.
She let us use the church for filming.
Right.
For the video.
She helped us kind of get all that worked out and organized. But just the fact that there's common sense in people who may not be the exact same thing that we are. And she's commented on several of the other videos that she has watched on our
So
channel
things that
here
she
and
doesn't even
just-
believe.
Right.
Like she doesn't choose, but she said, like she listened to the ladies do the no mas pantalones.
Yeah, that we
one.
call it, yeah.
And she listened to that. She goes, that was actually very helpful. She goes, it made sense. Explained why you guys do what you do, why you believe what you believe. She goes, I just don't see why people can't believe different and at least have something like that sheds light,
Right.
and gives you understanding. So
There's really just no excuse if you call yourself a Christian or somebody who follows God at all to treat anyone in a disgusting, rude manner if you disagree with them. I don't mind talking about topics or saying something is wrong, right? But
But to make it about a person or
to attack an individual,
well,
is
in all
just
fairness,
interesting.
in all fairness, can we be fair?
Sure, let's be fair.
In all fairness, I really do think that most of this on garbage and attack on the independent fundamental Baptists, because we're very saucy in the pulpit when it comes to our opinion of certain issues. Most of that comes because we clearly can identify that those issues are attached mostly to rebellious people. In other words, the reason they are the way they are or do what they do is it's not because they don't understand the truth. And it's not even that they can prove otherwise. In other words, that the truth isn't the truth or that we're wrong. They can't prove that we're wrong. So they just get real snarky and they're rebellious.
Right.
And so a lot of times when preachers in the pulpit and they handle stuff like that, they'll make fun of them or, that attitude is there. And so what these guys have done is they just turn around and they're unreasonable. They do the same thing. So I know I've tried to teach my kids and even all my staff, when we handle people we don't know, they don't believe the same, you respect them. Never engage in a nasty, hateful way. And if it gets to going that way, you end the conversation and keep your good Christian testimony. So.
I think it's encouraging to have someone even here in our community that we're able to talk to and can mention that they've seen the live broadcast and gotten a chance to watch it, and they have something positive to say. Even though they may not agree 100%, they still something positive. Right. And, if you find yourself watching this and you heard me say that, I hope we appreciate you.
There are actually more people common, ordinary people who are not in our church or in a church like ours. They have common sense.
Right.
So the big video that was out years ago took a 2-minute clip of me chewing out Matthew, one of our bus kids, and put it on the internet. To this day, we're running into people who say, "Yeah, I saw that. The kids need to correct it." They knew that 2 minutes
Right.
should not be a sum total of who I am.
Exactly.
And they understand that.
I've got a good relationship with his mom. I see her at Walmart all the time.
Right.
Talk to her all the time. I'm checking out. She stands there.
So I'm just saying, don't let these stupid Anon and these fake IFB accounts that like to just go after our type of church poison your taste on what we really are. Come visit.
Yeah.
Come visit.
One of the best combatants for stuff like that, too, is getting out and talking to people. Because if you don't go out of your church and you don't meet people, you don't talk to people, they're always going to think, if you're hiding is what I'm getting
Most of those people on the internet that are doing that, they're in their mother's basement and they haven't come out for a year and a half because of COVID. And they're probably in their basement wearing masks.
Their only ministry, if you consider their ministry, is on social media. Like, they don't actually engage with real people and real ministry.
And I say that in Christian love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
I go to church
Nod, nod.
by myself here.
Alone,
Under this bridge.
bridge.
Don't be
Okay,
like this,
all right.
me.
Let's get to the next song. We're gonna move along here. Okay, so the next song is "Little Is Much When God Is in It" by the Calvary Quartet. The song was requested by Ray Lynn. We'll be right back. In today's Across the Jordan segment, we're going to be talking about Charlotte White and Robert Morrison, both of which were missionaries. Charlotte White was born in, I want to make sure I say this right, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the daughter of Judge William Atlee and Esther. She married Nathan Hazen White in 1803, and he died in 1804. And the couple's one child died in 1805. Charlotte White joined the First Baptist Church in Haverhill, Massachusetts in 1807. A lot happened, just a really short period of time. White's application to become a missionary with newly founded Baptist Board of Foreign Missions was controversial, as many members of the board believed that only ordained males should be appointed missionaries. White was accepted as a missionary in a restricted appointment as a helper and companion for the wife of George Henry Hugh, a missionary printer being sent to India, and with her assurance that she would be sustained by her own resources. White remained only briefly with the Hughes on arrival at Calcutta, India, marrying a widower with 3 sons, Joshua Rowe. He was a missionary with the English Baptist Missionary Society, or BMS. Shortly after her arrival in 1816, Charlotte, now Mrs. Rowe, transferred to the Baptist she transferred to BMS, and the couple managed missionary schools in India. Charlotte wrote a language spelling book for the children in the Indian language, and in 1823, a letter from Charlotte was published without her permission, accusing 4 prominent missionaries at Serampore College of expropriating, property belonging to the Baptist Missionary Society. Joshua and Charlotte Rowe had 3 children. Rowe died in 1823, and Charlotte remained in India until 1826 before returning to the United States with her children. All right, and let's talk about Robert Morrison. Morrison was born in England and grew up at Newcastle upon Tyne. Robert was the youngest of 8 children. At age 3, Robert and his family moved to Newcastle, where his father found more prosperous work in the shoe trade. Robert's parents were devout Christians and raised their children to know the Bible and the Westminster Shorter Catechism according to the Presbyterian ideals. At age 12, he recited the entire 119th Psalm, which is 176 verses long, from memory in front of his pastor without a single mistake. John Wesley was still alive at this time, and many foreign mission agencies were being formed during this period of revival. Following a rudimentary education, Robert left school and was apprenticed to his father's business. For a couple of years, he kept company in disregard of his Christian upbringing and fell occasionally into drunkenness. However, this behavior soon ended in, I believe the year was, one second, let me make sure I got the year right, because I moved some notes around. It was 1789, I believe it was, when he professed, basically when he got saved and professed faith in Christ. That's when he stopped hanging out with all the wrong crowd. Following the death of his mother in 1802, he decided to prepare for missionary work. The LMS appointed Morrison as a missionary, and he then studied medicine, astronomy, and Chinese in London. Following his ordination in January 1807, he sailed for China by way of North America. He married Mary Morton in Macao on February 20th, 1809, and the same day was appointed translator of the East India Company, which gave him a legal foot for remaining on Chinese soil. His years in China were marked by constant tension with a government that discouraged its people from contact with foreigners. Morrison divided his time between official duties with the East India Company, by which he supported himself, and his missionary and literary work. In 1813, he completed a translation of the New Testament into Chinese. It was published the following year. Chinese officials rejected basically his translation with hostility, and this alarmed the East India Company, which nevertheless retained Morrison. In 1817, he was Lord Amherst's interpreter on an abortive mission to Beijing. Together with his colleague William Milne, he completed the translation of the entire Bible in 1819. Morrison's wife died in 1821, and he returned to Great Britain in 1823 with a collection of several thousand Chinese books, which were eventually deposited with University College in London. In 1824, he became a Fellow of the Royal Society and established the short-lived Language Institution in London. That year, he married Eliza Armstrong. Did I say that his wife passed away? I should have said that somewhere. His first wife had passed away while he was in China. And that's why he remarried. That year, he married Eliza Armstrong, and in 1828, the Morrisons returned to Canton, where Robert died 8 years later. There we go. That's what I got.
I think it's interesting how they. It was very common to get into closed countries through a different, like a line of work or a business, but yet be so passionate in what you're doing.
I think it's crazy that long ago, that was how he got in. He found a job that would allow him access. If you look at a lot of missionaries that go to China today, they do the same thing. They go in as teachers. They go in as some other, because guess what? Things haven't really changed.
Yeah, I think it'd be quite a challenge to an individual to actually be bold in teaching any kind of doctrine. Maybe it's one thing to be a witness,
right?
But when you get into teaching doctrine, I can imagine just the how you would open yourself up to be under more scrutiny,
right?
For that kind of thing. So it's kind of amazing. And then I was thinking about Charlotte White, considered the first.
Yes, she
female
was
missionary.
First single female missionary that was ever sent by any missionary agency or missionary organization.
And that was a Baptist.
Yes, it was.
Baptist group.
It was a Baptist group that she was sent out from. I think it's amazing to think that she had so much loss right at the beginning. She gets married, her husband dies, and then the only child that they had together also passes away. So what does she decide to do? You know what? I'm going to go into missions. And undoubtedly had a lot of hurdles, because back then, just like it said in the little portion that I read, that people struggled with the fact that they were going to send a female by herself.
Sure.
So I just think it's interesting. It was an interesting point that she, regardless of all that, was like, I'm going to serve the Lord. I'm going to find a way to.
I don't think that's dead. I don't think that feeling. I think one of the things for me as a pastor, when I'm contacted by single women, most single women are very young, and I don't think I've ever had a single woman come in and present her ministry. But doesn't mean I wouldn't support one if they were going to be underneath an established ministry.
Right.
So I guess for whatever reason, right or wrong, I don't feel comfortable sending a single lady off to a foreign mission field.
Which and it sounds like they did just that. They had her go under the leadership of a missionary that was going to be a printer. So it was just to help.
The problem sort of solved itself because on the way there she got married, basically, and never actually ended up going to where she originally was going to go to.
Well, she went with the couple. She did end up staying there, and then
My
got
point
married.
was more about the reservation and the criticism that would come with it for Baptist pastors to be a little bit gun shy about sending single. I think there are probably more in different denominations that would encourage or support that independency, but
Right.
Well, you think about it today. Sorry, excuse me. I mean, well, even 20 years ago, communication was not what it is today. I mean, right now, what is it? FaceTime, Skype. You can instantaneously talk to anyone around the planet. Honestly, Zoom, whatever it is. But back then, it was snail mail to the snailiest degree. Sorry, is that a new word now?
Snailiest,
But,
I like
snailiest. But 6 months to get a letter, and that was fast for them, and especially from India all the way to the United States. That's halfway around the world. So, I mean, obviously,
yeah,
you
I'm
would
not
have
sure
some
if communication is so much an issue for me as it is the safety of an individual.
Right, but I'm saying even back then, it was even worse. Foreign country, not too many Christians, and obviously the British East India Company was not an organization that was greatly enthralled with missionary work.
Right.
In fact, I mean, you read a lot of these missionary stories from back then. They were they had to find ways to get around the British East India Company, but they didn't want missionaries in there. And then, of course, they had to deal with the local natives, with the population. So there's a lot of issues with that. But
I wouldn't necessarily discourage a girl from going to the mission field if she felt that's what God wanted her to do, especially those that are, haven't found a mate yet and they want to go serve. I would just encourage her to be attached to an established missionary.
Right.
I think I think what's amazing by the reading and learning about these individuals of the past who did great things for the Lord is just their dedication for God.
Yeah.
Through almost all of their circumstances was through some tragedy of some sort that took place. Instead of going one direction and blaming God or getting bitter and just turning away from Christianity and the Bible, instead they turned and got closer to the Lord and yielded their life even more to the Lord, and a lot of times became missionaries or preachers or something. And so I find that very interesting. We just picked up a book a couple weeks ago about George Muller, and I know every book that I've ever gotten that's a biography or an autobiography about a missionary or somebody from the past that gave their life to the Lord. It's very encouraging to read through. Just their absolute dedication for the things of God. And I think it's very interesting, too, because they had so many less distractions than what we have today.
And I think that's mine next week, George Muller, right?
No, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. I think we should switch it up. I think you should take it. You've done so much research already on it.
Well, I just find it interesting.
It's good.
Not just specifically him, but these different guys. I think some of that, honestly, just looking at their lives and at how they, a lot of times, especially this book of George Muller, a lot of it is his, him writing in his diary. And you can kind of see day by day how things went. And he doesn't put every single day in there.
Right.
So you can kind of get a broad view, a step back view of his life. And I think it's interesting because they didn't have the things that we consider today, and yes, a waste of time, but also like this computer. It can be used in a great way for the Lord to do great things, but at the same time, just like your phone and computer, TV, and all of these things, they're also tremendous distractions.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yep, I agree.
And can be like,
time consumers.
It just takes your time away from becoming close to the Lord. And I think their focus, their dedication came from a constant desire to be close to the Lord. Yeah. And I just think that's something that we're missing today because we used all of our void time. And I'm not saying it's always wrong. And they had the same thing. They had entertainment back then. But it's just a different view.
And I also think we live in a generation where people look at this as a ministry venue. So they justify a lot of what they're wasting their time on, saying it's ministry. It's one of the reasons. There's a lot of guys out there on Twitter and And I guess I got pulled into that right at the beginning, but I just don't, I block and I don't answer people. If I'm not answering you, it's because it's a waste of time. And what's the Bible talk about? Unlearned questions and
Foolish unlearned questions.
Yeah, foolish unlearned. There's
Knowing that they do gender strife.
Here's what you ought to do. You ought to, before you get on Twitter and make yourself a platform, actually go somewhere for 17, 20, 30 years, build something. Build something that will stay after you're dead. And anybody can cart a bozo into a room and a cohort into a room and broadcast it. Today, anybody can get a camera and
You're right.
Yeah, there's so many
anybody can.
podcasts these days, a gag and maggot.
And we're not doing it because of any other reason, but simply this is part of our ministry, our church ministry. So we have most of the people that are watching on our YouTube right now, they're our church members.
Yeah.
They're our bus kids. And so we're not looking for notoriety of any sort. So I think you're right. And I thought about that as you were speaking to that issue, is how much more got done for the Lord back in those days, because there wasn't an instant communication like you were talking about, Pete. It's not that instant communication that people are using now to critique and to bring up absolutely pointless issues and arguments or things that would just cause others to be discouraged. We don't need to wrap our mind in that stuff. Go lead someone to the Lord and bring them to church and point them towards Jesus and give them a copy of the preserved, inspired Word of God. We all know which one that is, right?
It's good.
It's King James Bible.
Yeah.
Just was wondering if you guys knew. Did they come up with some new truth for us out of the new manuscripts they found recently?
I don't.
The
think
scrolls.
Probably not.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure they just said
There's
they
nothing
said
new?
exactly the same thing as
Yeah,
the
they
stuff
said
we
the
already
same
have.
thing.
Nothing is.
Yeah.
So it's all old pass.
Oh, it's old pass.
They
Yeah,
just
that's
proved
what it
it's
is.
all the same.
I was going to say about Robert Morrison, it's amazing to look at his life, and if you go to do a more in-depth study on his accomplishments, the list of accomplishments is insane. And we're talking the literary works, the things a lot of people consider him one of the first people to really dive into the Chinese language and really just make it educational for those who spoke English. He did a lot, of course, with founding the Literary Society in England to try and help teach languages like Chinese. But he also wrote a lot of things in the Chinese language as well. He wrote primers. He wrote educational things, and then he wrote religious books. He wrote things that had to do with the Bible in the Chinese language. But just and it wasn't just that. There were some other things. It's almost like, who was the gentleman that we talked about that he was into botany and 3 or 4 other different things that were scientific.
Carey, wasn't it?
So
Yeah, I think so.
But I just think it's amazing to think, and just like you said, without those distractions, how much more can you devote your time to these different areas? And then the last point I wanted to make about him was he was bivocational.
Yeah.
He was a missionary that was working a job and then taking his extra time to do all those other things.
And honestly, people need to understand that kind of thing is you ought not to look down on men that are carrying a job and doing a ministry.
Right.
I've done that. I did that for years when we first started a church, was bivocational, and some of the hardest thing you'll ever do as a pastor is be bivocational, and so. Well, I tell you what, a lot of respect there, a lot of things to learn in life, being bivocational, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was something interesting I was reading about, Robert Morrison, is that when he first got to China, he thought that one of the best ways that he could reach the Chinese was to be like the Chinese. And he was trying to dress like them, eat like them, immerse himself in the culture. But he was finding that it was actually having the opposite effect, because he is a foreigner. I mean, he's a white guy in the middle of China. They thought they were being suspicious of him, like he was trying to gain or to do something, bad. So he drifted away from that. I mean, and he kind of went back to the Bible principle: come out from among them, be separate. You know what? There's a lot of people today that think they need to change Christianity to fit culture today, rather than.
That's a sensitive subject there, because we got a bunch of guys from our movement that would be for that. You see it in the missions when you have missionaries come, and then a bunch of guys that are against it. This is my rule of thumb when I'm teaching in college. What's the issue on that? If the culture is not anti-Bible, fine, because it's not it's not the clothes you're wearing. It's the truth you're preaching and living, both of those together. If the culture then becomes the dictator of the direction of your doctrine, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
So
I think that's what you were.
Yeah,
I was getting at that.
Yeah.
If you're more words than the few. So, but I'm just saying that it's interesting that from his own personal experience, what he first tried to do was just to be like them, to dress like them. But he was finding it was easier for him as a foreign missionary to just be a foreign missionary. And the objective of a foreign missionary is not to be like the culture you're going to, but to convert to Christianity the people that are in that culture already, and then from that way send out and train new leaders, new preachers, new pastors.
It's not about American culture. Or
it's not
where
about
you're going. It's about, like what you said, Dad. It's about Christian culture. The culture of living the Word of God. And not every culture is going to be the same, but exactly like you said, we should first build our lives off of biblical principles and not let culture persuade it one way or the other, not the other way around. It shouldn't be we build our lives based on the culture and then are persuaded a little bit by Bible principles.
Actually, most cultures in this world reflect the teaching of the lessons that we believe as well. Like Brother Debim, he's from North Africa. He's from
South Africa.
No, he's from Nigeria.
Sorry, Nigeria.
And they have a typical, they have a name for it, but it's a garb that they wear and it's church.
Right, like they're dressed up.
Right, but it's dress up, but it doesn't have a tie. But the whole lesson is when they come to church, they dress up. They dress up. And what's the point of that? The point of that is you show honor to the Lord.
Right.
And that principle is alive when God first set up the temple and the tabernacle and go into the Holy of Holies. You go in, not only are you dressed in certain garments, but the garments were of great value. They were of better quality and greater value. It was to communicate that you were presenting to God your best. It's always about, why? Because it was a picture of what what God was giving us, and that was His best. He gave us His Son. He gave us eternal life. That was, and in return, we should be willing to give. Now, we don't believe that gets you saved, but we do believe that when you acknowledge that truth and you submit yourself to honor the Lord, that's an indication that you see some spiritual truths and that you are growing spiritually. Not that you would gain any greater position in heaven because you were dressed a certain way, but you do acknowledge, hey, this makes sense. I'm going to honor the Lord, respect God.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting to note, too, that it's actually recorded that Robert Morrison had above 10 different professions of faith from Chinese people that he administered to. So, I mean, you hear of some missionaries where they were there for years and years and never had any converts. But the fact that he actually did, and by any standards, no one would say, oh, huge numbers. But the fact that, I mean, he translated the Bible into Chinese. So, I mean, that's a big accomplishment.
I think most of that criticism, I think most of that criticism comes from the majority of bad birds in missions who find comfortable areas that when they take the American, we just lost our feed. When we take, they go find a place to serve that has a good climate. They take their missions money, which is compounded in value when you go to that country.
Right.
They're white. They're already considered rich because they're from America. They take and I know of a mission work like that. The guy went over there, he and his wife bought a huge, almost like a palace. And he raised his support being an independent fundamental Baptist. When he got over there, left all the standards and everything else and started some kind of theater with kids to reach kids. And lives high on the hog. That kind of stuff makes me sick and ill. If you're going to raise support and say that you're something, and then you go over there, you're just living off the land. You're just living off the money. And but you got guys like this who go over, pay the price, bivocational, doing all they can. They get 10 people saved. I think in heaven they're going to be looked at.
And the untold people that will have gotten saved because of his work through translating the Bible.
It's good.
Staying faithful in the thick and thin, even when you think that you're not reaching people, and just staying yielded to the Lord and doing what God requires of you, that will always last longer than, quitting because you don't have a building full of people like those missionaries.
Right.
If they quit, where would those mission fields be today? So.
Great examples that we got to talk about this week.
Amen.
Let's go ahead and go to a song. Oh, Say But I'm Glad by Fundamental Difference. We'll be right back. Welcome to the segment entitled The Pulp. David?
I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
The Pulp.
Not the Pope.
I knew somebody was going to say it.
That's the only reason I said it, because you wouldn't say it.
Someone's got to say it. Guys,
Yeah.
get this. We may just make the 1 hour mark.
Hey.
We got 6 minutes.
We do. We have 6
get through
minutes to
this.
get through this.
I'll go first. Mine last week was a good one, I think. I don't remember what it was, so I'm going to be grumpy this week. Lines.
Lines? Yeah.
Lines.
Yeah, lines.
Oh, this is a good double. Okay.
Whoa. I don't
it's
even
good and
understand
bad?
It's a
lines.
good and a bad.
Lines,
He
like
was
you're waiting in line.
Waiting in line.
Oh, waiting
in line this
Yeah.
morning.
Took
We
me
go
like
to
2
Dunkin'.
minutes.
Yes.
And it was like the line was out the door.
21st
But
century problems,
The good
right?
part about that is we've got mobile ordering. So I mobile ordered, stepped down a line.
He was out of line.
And I got my drink before everyone else even ordered.
I did that too.
Yeah. So good and bad. Good and bad. There's a silver lining
yeah.
to every
Technology.
yes.
What's yours?
Mine's drivers. I feel like we've said that before, but
Yeah.
constantly that.
it blows my mind the fact that some people just cannot drive. Either they drive really slow, or get this, I'm pulling out of my driveway, and I swear every time I go to back out of my driveway, I'm on this street that there shouldn't be that much traffic. The one time I'm backing out, there's a car that you have to wait for. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the street's empty 5 minutes earlier. You go to back out, and there's like 10 cars. Or what about that street but next to the Mongolian grill?
Yeah, that's terrible.
That is the worst street in this. It's like
Trying to get
there's
in
no
and out of
stop
any of
sign, no
those parking
stoplights. It's like
And it's not really because of the traffic. It's because those areas are laid out improperly. Their entrance
Can't
and
see
exits.
around.
so. I'm getting ready to pull out. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the cars to come by. And there's this SUV that was coming the opposite direction, so they're on the opposite side of the road, and
Right.
they're trying to turn in right here. Well, instead of doing what you're supposed to do, because it's the way that traffic law works,
Right-of-ways.
when the last car goes through, then it's your turn. They sit there and they're honking their horn at me. They're like, "Go!" I'm like, "What do you mean go? There's no stop sign where you're at. You have the right of way." But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go because you said go.
Yeah, so you
But
say,
it's just
"Thank
there-
you."
But I'm saying it's like, brother Jeff, you said take the bus.
Take the bus.
That'll solve that problem.
Yeah, the North Platte Transit bus.
Brother Perez is watching us, and he texts me and asks where our super suits are.
Left them at home.
Hey, yeah.
You got to be civilized on that.
Mine's in my car.
I had a mask though.
They're in the phone booth.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Super suits? I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, super suits.
Super suits.
I don't know.
I'm an average guy.
That's true.
Okay.
Oh my word.
All right, mine.
Peter,
Babies.
Babies.
You gotta love them.
Is this good or
Some
bad?
people hate them.
Some people hate them. At 2 a.m,
You hate them.
you're not on the loving side too much. No, it's been a fun week. I think the most sleep in a row or in one single stretch that I got this entire week was just under 5 hours, and it was last night. It felt so good.
Didn't even know it.
Woo. But it's awesome. Having little Ellery, I mean, she is just the awesomest thing that God gave us, besides Anna. I don't know how to phrase that.
and Jewel.
No, in life. Jewel's a different category. Salvation's okay, too. But
I don't think Anna quite knows quite yet what's going to happen here.
She
She just loves her little sister right now, but wait
She
until
does.
she gets all of the attention, all of the time.
from other people, that's when it's going to hit her.
Yeah.
Dad?
I don't have anything to complain about.
No. Well, then don't complain. Tell us about something good. What's good?
I'm looking at trading my truck in.
It's good.
I guess bad.
All black Dodge Ram. Hey, we haven't said that this season yet.
No. Well, we just did.
We just did.
Yeah.
Well, it's generally 2 years. I tried to trade it in at about between 30 and 40,000 miles. And I'm about at 47,000. And so it's been a little over 2 years. And went shopping yesterday, kind of looking at some things. And it would be nice if you could ever find what you're looking for all in one vehicle. Mm-hmm. But, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time coming up with something to really complain about. God's good.
Yes, he is.
I'm really struggling trying to decide over this feature or that feature. Rough parts of my life.
There's 21st century problems.
Oh, you know what? We can complain about bad weather delaying all our packages. Because I ordered a Spider-Man face mask and got delayed.
Jeff wants to know about wearing tights. You can wear them, Jeff, but I ain't wearing them.
Yeah.
Oh, David over here probably would love to wear some Spider-Man tights.
Nope. I almost ordered like an actual suit, but two things stopped me. One, I don't think I would look very good in it. And two, I don't think I would look very good in it. I don't think I could be appropriate. We're running around, and that would be...
Yeah, how about not? That's why I just bought a cape. That's it.
Yeah.
Just a cape.
Right.
I was trying to go big, though.
Wait.
Go big. That's what I remember
That's
from
Nebraska.
staff meeting.
Go big.
Big.
Huge.
Good.
Wow.
I heard this week that that we're a big church here.
That's funny. That is
It is.
funny.
It is.
Are you going to
funny
give
how
us context, or you just...
Someone told me that. They just we were
They
talking.
stopped
I
you on
was
the
doing
side
it.
of the road and say, hey, your
No,
church
I
is
don't really.
big.
I don't need to divulge any context of who I was talking to. I was just trying to say that I was talking to a person this week, and it's interesting because they're in a position where they meet with a lot of different places, a lot of different
They're
businesses.
community-
Yeah, they're
they-
community
interwoven.
type people.
Yeah.
And they wanted their description of our church was. The person said it's good to see a bigger church doing such and such, and it cracked me up because I'm not saying that we're not doing big things for the Lord, but just that perception of that we're
I think it's because we do things bigly.
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 Right. So
If you do things first class, people always perceive that
Right.
you are bigger. I think it's just it. We just first class, and we're busy. We're always busy doing something. So
Did your TV interview ever? Did you watch
yes,
it?
yeah, it's
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Tell everyone about your TV interview
It's,
because it's 6:01
it's
and
great.
I wanted to make sure we didn't make it on time.
wow. I'm sure we'll probably post it or something somewhere, I think. But I did a little interview with the news station here in town, and they did a story on this Sunday. They ran it yesterday. They ran it at the 6 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news, and then I think she was going to run it again today. And then we're going to have actually someone from the news come out tomorrow to kind of get some interviews with the mayor and with the CEO of the hospital. But it was really good to be able to kind of present that on a bigger scale with the news station. And
it's going to be great is being able to. I'm going to preach before the presentation, so all of those people will be hearing the gospel.
Right.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Amen.
Very, very, very good.
It's good.
Good.
Anything else? Have we made it?
I think so.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see here. With that, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of The Brook. We hope you'll join us again next week in the same time, same place for another fun-filled show. David, Pastor, Peter, JT, up in the booth. Thanks for another great broadcast. You can find this show in podcast form at some time in the future on YouTube and on iTunes. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you joined us today on YouTube. And before we go, we'd like to leave you with this verse.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
And with that, we'll play the final song, Send the Light by Hiles Anderson College. We'll see you next week.
The Brook, a ministry of North Platte Baptist Church.